Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. Let's get started with our hosts, Linda McKissack and Dana Gentry.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Everything Life and Real Estate. I'm Linda McKissack.
And I'm Dana Gentry.
Hey, Dana, how are you? Where are you? Are you in Kentucky or?
I'm in Kentucky. I just got back here last night, and I'm actually here for a little over 2 weeks, just trying to get back in the swing of things and visit the offices and stuff since I was out in August. So yeah, I'm excited to be here. Although I don't know if you do this too, but I hate for first world problems, of course, but I get here and I think I had everything. And then I'm like, I don't have my protein shakes. I don't have dog food for the dog. I had no bottled water. So I've been trying to get it together today. But yeah, glad to be back.
Yeah. Isn't that I know, I think I have it all together. I just packed for trips to go from Austin to Chicago, from Chicago to Branson, from Branson to Ohio, from Ohio to Boise, Idaho, from Boise, Idaho to San Diego, from San Diego to Whitefish, Montana. So it was so confusing to me. I finally labeled suitcases on where they should pull them out of the plane at, like Branson.
Smart. Yeah.
And then I still forgot a few things here and there, but you know what?
Press told me that y'all were in Branson this weekend and that you had a good time.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was so fun. I love Silver Dollar City. That's one of my favorite amusement parks. And they just do everything first class.
Was the weather good?
Mm-hmm. Perfect weather. Yeah, it was perfect.
It's perfect weather here too. I was so glad. No humidity. I slept with my window open last night. I was like, this is fall. I'm ready for it.
Yeah, no kidding. So I'm kind of excited because when I went to Chicago, I did my strategic coach in person, which I've been doing it on Zoom.
Yep.
I think I might want to go back in person. I found us a couple of good guests. So for the future, one lady is a functional medicine doctor, and she has a book. Let's see, what's her book? Can't remember what her book is called. She is, I think it's endorsed by Susan Summers, and Susan Summers her clients, or she's got a bunch of high-end clients that she works with. I loved her. I fell in love with her immediately, and we hung out the whole time.
Good.
But we did a really good exercise on called Your Best Decade Ever.
Yep.
And what I love about strategic coach, and I know you guys hear me talk about it all the time, is I think, everything in life we do begins with how do we think, and to kind of think about our thinking. And I don't think we slow down long enough. I know I don't. I bet I've put build in time for thinking on my sheet. I don't know how many times, and it always gets pushed out.
Yep.
So what I love about strategic coach is it forces me to take time and think. I mean, that's kind of what the whole exercise is all about. So what you did is you took, what is your next decade? So what year is it right now? And what's 10 years from now? So that's a decade. And then what we did is we brainstormed. And what I love about this is you could do this. Well, we did it in two categories, a creativity and productivity category, and fitness and health. And so here's I think I told you this. Here's one of the things he's kind of been talking about lately. 3 rules. Everything's made up.
Oh yeah, I wanted to write these down. Yep.
Nobody's in charge, and life's not fair.
But what is he talking about those with?
Well, just everything. It's kind of when you think about anything, think about that. If everything's made up, what could you make up?
Yeah.
You think about it. A mailbox wasn't called a mailbox until we named it. So everything in life is actually made up.
What was the number 2?
Number 2 was nobody's in charge.
Oh yeah. Okay. And then life's not fair.
Because I think what he means is if we don't understand these, if we think someone is in charge, that puts us in a box. If we think life should be fair, that's going to put us in a box.
Yep.
And if we think, it's not our responsibility to make up anything, then we don't spend any time doing that. So we kind of last few workshops, we've kind of worked on those premises. But the way you think about your next decade is your creativity and productivity. And then the next category was fitness and health. Because a lot of the entrepreneurs in there, probably there are a few younger ones there, but they're probably, pretty much everybody's now is thinking about longevity.
Yeah. That's just a buzz thing anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so in those two categories, what we'd want to think about is what are all the things you could brainstorm over the next 10 years that you could accomplish in the creativity and productivity area. I mean, so what would be fun is just throw everything in the world up on the board. Don't hold anything back, right?
Yeah. Did you guys do that? Like, did you actually work through it?
Yep. So,
Wow.
so with that, one of the things I used as a premise, because I had been reading and rereading 10X is easier than 2X.
Yep.
I decided I was, to 10X. Okay. So I'll take my region, for example. In the region, it took me from 2000 to now to get to 5,000 agents.
Yep.
What if we just decided to go to 10,000 agents?
Yeah.
Because that was a matter of what, 23 years?
23 years. Yeah.
If we did it in 5 or 3 or, why do we have to think, okay, because we did it the first time in that 20 something 3 years, why couldn't we just, because what it does when you 10X your thinking is it makes you think of different solutions. I can't just think of, if I added this many market centers and if you grew your market center by this a month, Dana, and we grew this one by that, they won't work.
Yeah.
You got to think outside the box. And so you got to say, how could we do it? It makes you ask different questions.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and then, just don't hold yourself back on brainstorming what things you'd want to accomplish in the area of creativity and productivity in the next decade.
Yep.
In 10 years.
So basically you make a list and just throw it all on the wall.
Yeah.
But is there any sort of way of like, how do you decide which ones you're actually going to do?
Well, then you have to do that. You have to pick your top 3.
Okay.
And you have to explain why you pick those. And so let's say, for example, the first one I put was 10,000 agents in Ohio, Indiana, and Kentucky.
Yep.
Okay. Now I had to put why.
Okay.
And now you're connected to, well, I think about the lives we've changed already and how cool that's been and the relationships we've built. And I just put change 5,000 more realtors' lives in the territory that God trusted with me.
Yep. And
now I'm connected to, oh my gosh, this is the real reason you want to do it. It's because the joy that I've gotten from the lives I've been able to be a part of changing in the first place, right?
Yeah. And not only, I think that's huge, changing lives, but I'm just thinking too, like just the relationships that you built and that people, I mean, that's huge.
Honestly, I always say this all the time, other than my family, there's no other group of people I'd rather hang out with.
Yeah.
Like when I was in Branson this weekend, all I could think about was, oh my gosh, we have to come back to Branson. And when we do this time in Fun Mountain, I don't think Fun Mountain was here before. Fun Mountain's there. They have like 15 bowling alley lanes. I want us to all build teams, not teams with each other, but teams, or we could do teams of offices and play bowling against each other as one of our activities.
Yeah, we didn't go there. I don't think that was there.
Yeah. So, I mean, those are the kind of things I probably should put on here also. I mean, I didn't even think about that, putting that because I am so big into experiences right now, which I'm reading a book that I got from someone when I was at my strategic coach this week that says die with zero. And basically what he means by that is not necessarily die broke, but a lot of people build up and build up and build up and then try to do experiences.
Yeah.
Like sit down and think of experiences as investments.
Yeah.
And what ones would you want to do and who would you want to share them with? And why is now the time to do that?
Yeah, oh my gosh, Adam and I just had that conversation because coming back from the heels of being at the US Open and obviously with Addison and Amelia being so crazy into tennis and honestly, like they could go pro. I mean, that's like that could be their life if that's what they choose and they stay committed to it. But we were talking to a couple people that hadn't gone and they were saying it's just outrageous. Like it's so expensive to go to the Open and like we wouldn't be going on vacation or, we would only go anyway. And Adam said, you're right. It is expensive. And honestly, for us, like it's the experience that we create every year for the kids. And we look at it as not only an experience, but as an investment because it's something that they're into, and everybody's into it. And it's crazy because like if we ask the kids, do you guys want to go, to Mexico or to wherever, or would you rather do the US Open for a weekend? They're like, oh my gosh, no, US Open for sure,
Yeah.
for sure. But it's true.
That is so true. And that reminds me of something. I was at dinner the night before our 10X started, and I was explaining to the guy sitting next to me, I said, well, first of all, I've kind of been working on getting a suite or something, getting some kind of big tickets for Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
And it's a huge chunk of money.
Yeah.
And I said, I am freaking out about doing this, but I feel like it's going to push me. And he said, no, it's not going to push you. It's actually going to pull you into your future self. And I said, oh, right. That's so true. That's what big experiences and commitments do.
Wow. Yep.
And I thought, yes. And the other thing it does is I have zero fact finder, but the minute I thought about writing somebody that big a check, my fact finder went through the roof. I started snooping the guy down, checking him out, looking up his company. I mean, I'm freaking
Who
out.
has high fact finder? You're like, Anna, I need your help.
I have no fact finder. I mean, like, I'm like, pull the trigger, ready, fire, aim. Well, I'm telling you, that fact finder went up real fast. But I love that he said that.
Yeah.
Sometimes we look at it as pushing us, but really what it's going to do is pull us into, and he said, honestly, that's what your plane did. And I said, you're so right. Because with that trip that we just talked about, I went to Chicago and then went back to Ohio to pick up the girls and Press and Anna to go to Branson.
Yeah.
That was an opportunity that I had.
Yeah.
Because I had made a big commitment somewhere, and that was pulling me into more opportunity, more experiences. And so when you look at it like that, that makes a big difference on what you're willing to. But anyway, this book called Die with Zero talks about thinking about experiences as investments. And I thought that is so good. Like he said, you don't want to think about when you're 90, what you're not going to be able to do that you could do right now.
Yeah.
Think about how ages your kids are at, that you won't get a chance to do certain experiences because they won't be this age again.
Yeah, definitely. I've been in like just a total, I think it's just after my dad passing, it's like anytime there's like a death, I think you just think about, I have felt like I am nuts the last, I even look at Adam and be like, do you think that's a crazy thought? Like, am I losing it? He's like, no, that's normal. Even on my coaching call with Terry today, I asked her something and she was like, that's totally normal. I was like, okay, so you're sure I'm not losing it? She's like, no, you're not losing it. But it is true because you get in a different headspace. And I keep thinking about like experiences. That's what matters. It really is. That's the stuff that you remember. And they even said something I was at a women's conference this past weekend for church in Charleston, and they said something about I went to the breakout of like how to raise the next generation kids, because it's like all the thing. I need to send you my notes from that, by the way. It was so good.
Yes, for my Mimi and Pop camp.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it was so good. But one of the biggest things that she said, crap, I don't have my notebook in here. It's in the car. She said that it's laying the foundation, but it's putting them in an atmosphere of encounters. And all of that starts with so she said people always say, should I make my kids go to church? Like, should I make them go or should I wait for them to go? And she said, raise your hand if your parents didn't make you go, if you would even be in this room today, and everybody's like, no, it's because they made me go, when I wanted to be drunk with my friends or whatever. And so she said that she was talking about the encounters that you have. And she said, when you think about it, most people, you don't remember like every church sermon that you heard when you went to youth group, but you remembered like the worship or like the trips that you did together, like the encounters and the experiences. And she said that that's truly like what actually molds and shapes kids the most, more than like, do you have straight A's or, are you doing this right or whatever? It's like putting them in an atmosphere to be able to have encounters and experiences.
So true. I love that. That's so good.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, be sure to send me the notes on that for my Mimi and Pop camp coming up in November.
Oh yeah, gosh, that's fast. I feel like you just had last year.
No. Okay, so this next section that we did was fitness and health.
Yeah.
Like, what are some things? And if you think about it, if you think about your next decade, you think, okay, I'm 10 years older. What things are going to be harder for me if I don't work on them right now? Like flexibility and balance, things like that, that they've proven that over the next so many years, you get less and less of. So, okay, now I got to get really aggressive about this area, stretching, maybe flexibility, balance, whatever. And then what are your top 3? And then why? And I think the why is important, because if it doesn't tug at you when you write out the why, it's probably not one of your top 3.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it was just interesting to think in a 10-year period, and then to log it into top 3 and write out why it's important for you to pull that off. And then now go back and think about, okay, ask different questions about how would I get, what would need to be true.
Yeah.
So like in my wellness one, I put true age of low 50s, which I got a call from longevity Dr. Gladden's office, and they said, hey, True Age wants to some information from you because you made the leaderboard. And I said, what does that even mean?
Oh my gosh, of course.
I guess one of your True Age actually measures your actual age compared to what your whatever your real age is, I guess. So I guess I don't either everybody was really super old for themselves, or I was doing pretty good. So I put on there, okay, now this is a thing. So if I can actually reverse it, what do I want to reverse it to? So I put true age of low 50s, because I think that's where mine's probably middle 50s right now. So I'm like, okay, then now I'm going to have to go figure out, what does a person have to do? What measures that, and what things are important for me to be able to do that. So I just think it makes your goals and your stuff a little more exciting and fun. Because you now have to go figure out and ask different questions on, how do I get that accomplished?
So curious, since I don't know if Jimmy's still doing this with you or not, but do they want you to do it with your spouse, or do you have 2 totally separate different lists?
Well, Jimmy doesn't go with me. I dropped him off in Branson. He doesn't do free zone with me. I would say probably I did it on my own.
Okay.
Because I think there's a lot of stuff that I think you could do it both ways. One, but Jimmy's productivity and creativity is going to be different than mine.
Right.
And his fitness and health is going to be different than mine. Now, we could work on some together. You know what I mean? We could have some family ones. But I think you're going to have to do it for yourself, unless everything you do is together. Business wise and everything is them, which it's not necessarily the case. We work towards common goals, but we do different things in that, dropping things in that bucket.
Do you know about how many was your first round that you threw out on
I didn't put a lot, because we don't get very long. You get 30 seconds, 60 seconds. What it does is just get you thinking about it. And then you get in groups and talk about it. Which is kind of nice, because you get to hear other people's. But I think you could do this and just write. So say, turn a clock on and give yourself 15 minutes and keep going. The reason I like doing this in a group is sometimes some of my best ideas are things I hear somebody else say that I never even thought about.
I was just going to say, did you get any good ideas from other people in your group?
No, not really, because we're in a small group when we do it. No, I would love to do this in a much larger group and get to hear more people.
That would be super cool. I love that. And I love I definitely want to do this. And I love the, actually, especially, this is crazy. I just thought about this, because I'm going to be 40 in November. So truly the next decade is from 40 to 50.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, that's perfect timing. But I am intrigued by this. Everything is made up. Nobody's in charge. Life is not fair thing.
And what it really makes you do is think about, one of the things I put on there is get my key people to do more opportunity. Because when I actually got mixed 2 different things. I was at another deal and this one. And it's where you kind of think through, where's your life easy, lucrative, and fun? You know what I mean? And who makes it easy, lucrative, and fun, and who doesn't?
Yes.
And so one of the things that I wrote down is, I know the key people that have the potential and capabilities to do more. And so how can I help those people see a bigger, brighter future, right? Because until they see big, brighter future, they're not gonna do it, right? And I think about, I wouldn't have done probably the stuff I've done if Gary hadn't tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Hey, why don't you think about doing this?" So I put that as one of my things too. I also put down experience events for entrepreneurs. I love, that's why we go to John Maxwell's thing every year. That's why, I just love the opportunity events myself. And so I love that John uses it to get to do some of the things he wants to do. So I want to put my thinking cap on how could I create experience events that entrepreneurs would love to go to also.
That's like the dream for me too. I just think
like one of the things we said to the guy today that we were talking to about the Taylor Swift thing is he said, is there any sporting events or his big thing is events.
Yeah.
Anybody, and he said, like, you want to go to CMAs or anything? I said, yeah, that. And we said the Kentucky Derby. But he said, is there any movie stars or anybody you'd like to meet? Because they just did something with Matthew McConaughey or something.
Yeah,
and
he was at the US Open.
Oh, he was? Anyway, I said, well, I'm not really into movie stars and stuff, but I said, now if you get up with Dolly Parton, I could probably do that.
For sure, 100%.
So yeah, so I think this was a fun activity, and I think everybody would have a good time if they actually spent some time just thinking, what age are you now?
Yep.
What age are you 10 years from now? What years are those? I put 24 to 34.
Yeah.
24 to 2034. And then just sit in it and brainstorm around those. And you could even add probably a few areas. You could add another category and add family.
Hey, I was going to say family would be the good one to add. Yeah.
Where was I? Oh, I was getting a massage the other day in Branson. Press was so sweet. He bought me and Anna a massage.
Oh.
And I was talking to the guy, and the guy, like his in-laws were like some big attorney in LA. And so I said, and so I started picking his brain. I said, well, do they take y'all on vacations? Because, we take our family.
Yeah.
He said, yeah. And I said, well, tell me some of the, he said, well, mostly what we do is around learning events. Like they're going to Antarctica on a boat, on a ship that does explorations and only lets a few people go.
Oh.
That's kind of cool. See, I would have never thought about that.
No.
And then my other question was, well, how do y'all get around in those other countries? Because that's part of what I've kind of been thinking about is, okay, if we take everybody out to another country, he said, we get Sprinter vans because there's like 16 of them.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. We could do. Adeline thinks every time she sees a Sprinter van, she'll say, Mimi, is that our car? Because we did one in San Diego and we were there at spring break. So poor.
Yeah, that's what
she doesn't understand anything but private flying and Sprinter vans.
Sprinter vans, I know.
She got a rude awakening.
She is. I was gonna say, I hope she marries somebody rich.
Well, we're gonna teach her how to be rich.
Yeah, that's true. Totally true. Yeah, the Sprinter vans are the way to go. That's what we always do with this other family we travel with for tennis stuff, because it's just easier. And I told Adam this after we left US Open this time. We spent an insane amount of money on Ubers. I mean, nuts, like crazy. And I said, next year, it would be cheaper truly for us to just have had a driver for the 4 days we were there. Then it was crazy. It was $300 each way from the airport to the hotel. Like, it's just crazy.
Well, and what's funny is I have to kind of get over some of my limited thinking. A driver picked me up at the FBO when I landed in Chicago.
Yeah.
And I'm going over to Dan Sullivan's house for a get together. And then I was going out to dinner with a group of people. And so my natural instinct was to tell her, oh, go on, I'll just get an Uber with everybody. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh no, your manager told me to wait for you. And I'm like, Linda, what are you doing here? You're going to make your life easier. And I just said, it'll be about an hour or so. And she said, okay, I'll be right here. And I thought, okay, Linda, the problem is between your ears.
It's so really, true.
Honestly. And it wasn't the hassle of, would my Uber app work? Do I need to get an Uber? And she took me to the restaurant, and then I did let me off, and then we all got an Uber back together. But I'm like, oh my gosh, it's more my own limited thinking than how can I make my life easier and more convenient?
Yeah, so true. My dogs are about to go nuts. I think they just saw somebody.
Probably the Amazon man bringing you your Ripple, which by the way, I love those.
Did you try them?
Yes, I love them. I have
honestly. Did you do the chocolate?
Yes, I love the chocolate.
It's the best. Like, I can't even tell you how many shakes, and they all taste chalky. And this one tastes like chocolate milk to me.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, matter of fact, I had a whole, I don't know, 24 pack or 12 pack here in Ohio.
Yeah.
And it's like, you got a big package. I'm like, yeah, that's my protein shakes.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. I've had so many people, so many listeners have said what stuff they bought from our thing, from our things. I love it.
I know, and you and I thought of a million things after we got through. What we're going to have to do is make page 1, 2, and 3, and 4. Because I got so many. I mean, like my really cool sunglass thing that holds your sunglasses. You know how many sunglass things I've held, I've tried. You know, things for keeping your cell phone in your car. I mean, I bet I bought 15 till I found one that was perfect and worked. So we need to save everybody all that headache of figuring that out on their own.
It's so true. I know, it's so true. True. Well, I'm excited to do this, and we'll just challenge everybody to make your list of your best decade ever, your next 10 years. And yeah, I can't wait to do this. This will be the next thing I do when I'm on a plane in the next week.
You know, one of the things I added to my fitness part, well, I just want to tell you this one far out there, play pickleball in a league. I put that, I don't know how you do that when you live in 14 different cities at all times, but I did put that down. And the other thing I put is I put down learning as part of my health, because if I'm not going to things that I'm not, and several of us have done that. It's like, okay, learning has to be a part of my health, because when I don't get fed knowledge wise myself, I can start to feel almost as if kind of like if I feel when I don't run or exercise for so many days. I feel the same way when I don't get some learning.
Yeah, same. So true. Yeah, that's so true.
Awesome. So any final thoughts you have around that, Dana?
No, I just can't wait. And also it was good. I just knew this, but I just rewrote it down again. Just the easy, lucrative, and fun. Like, I just need to think about that every day. Yeah. You know, I mean, because it's so much easier and it's so much more fun when you're around the people that make it easy, lucrative, and fun.
Yeah, I got that from Joe Polish years ago. He just said, you know, you want to have a business that's easy, lucrative, and fun. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, me too.
Yeah, absolutely. Such a good reminder.
Awesome. Great. So if you have not, go ahead and figure out what your next decade looks like. What year will it be? What year is it now? What year will it be when in 10 years from now? And remember, your categories are creativity and productivity, fitness and health. And you can add any other category you want, like family, fun. I think it's unlimited what you could add. And if you have not hit the subscribe button, please go ahead and do that now. And the greatest compliment you can give Dana and I is to pass this podcast along to anyone who might benefit from these conversations. And of course, we'd always love to have a great review. And if you have a comment, question, challenge, or opportunity, or a guest that you'd like to hear have us have on the podcast, reach out to us at info@everything life and real estate. Well, Dana, I guess I'll see you next week.
Sounds good. See you then.
Be sure to subscribe for more business strategies and tactics to inspire you to live an abundant real estate life. Don't forget to rate and review so we can bring you the best content. Find this and other valuable information at everythinglifeandrealestate.com.